Dwyer, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Arrow. Thanks for having me on.
I think you're about ready to touch the hearts of every baseball fan in the world. I mean, because this is something that we've been asking for, dreaming about, because we all have our baseball cards and little things that we picked up at the games. Now we've got a place where we can go and we can be fans of the game.
Yeah, I mean, that was sort of the idea is to create a place where people can just celebrate the game however they do it, with baseball cards, or if they're wiffle ball fans, or shoot ball, all the different forms of baseball for all around the world. This is a place where you can come and celebrate it.
Oh my God, I laugh at wiffle ball because as kids we would play home run derby, and it was all about parking that wiffle ball.
Boy, yeah, and wiffle balls, they're hard to park.
The Baseball Hall of Dreams. How long has this been planted in your heart? Because I mean, this is something that had to have taken a crew of players and collaborations to make it happen.
Yeah, I guess it's been kind of in the planning and realization stage for about a year, but it just kind of came to us like a vision, sort of like Ray Kinsella. We just thought, Dyersville, the movie site has been very popular over the years, hundreds of thousands of visitors, but rarely do they come into the Dyersville town, which is only 3 miles away, to enjoy this beautiful little town of 6,000 people. And this building came available, and it was originally built in 1860, which is kind of just amazing to think that, Abraham Lincoln was president when they were laying the stones of this building. But the Civil War era is also when baseball sort of became popular in America. So we thought, why not make this the baseball building and have a celebration of the game here. So we created the Baseball Hall of Dreams, which, we have a collection of vintage baseball mitts that we allow people to come and, just go out front and have a catch with the mitt and, make sure and bring it back to us. But, we trust people, and we've got, exhibits about humor and baseball and minority players and women who've contributed to the game. And the If You Build It exhibit, which is a museum about the making of the movie, they took a lease right next to us. So in this building, there's, a couple of museums you can come to. Ours is free and theirs is very inexpensive. We have a third museum coming next year, and a batting center, and a restaurant and bar. So we're just trying to make a fun place for people to come who spend some time at the field, but want to have, spend a little more time and learn about the game and celebrate it themselves.
I was going to ask about a restaurant because, I mean, you talk about a place that better be mic'd because the stories that people are going to be bringing. Because, I mean, we have this love affair for sure, Major League Baseball, but minor league baseball as well. And they talk about the stadiums. They talk about the hot dogs. And we just need that place where we can all gather as one.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and that's what we're hoping for. We're looking for a baseball themed restaurant who can provide just that. I've had the great luxury of visiting a lot of minor league stadiums across the country. And I mean, I think of one in Kenosha, Wisconsin, that's got a boat in left field, just sitting there on the left field corner. And you're like, what's that for? But, people hit home runs into it, and they set up a little bar in it. And I mean, just the most amazing and wonderful things that make the game of, particularly minor league baseball, so much fun.
You talk about the baseball gloves that people can go out and catch in. Maybe I was a strange kid, but I didn't want my dad to buy me a brand new one. I always wanted the one that was at a flea market or some sort of auction because it was already built in, and to me it had history inside those fingers.
Yeah, I agree. There's people now who wear in your glove for you. We used to do it. We'd get it when we got a new glove, which, I'm with you. We wanted a new one. You put a baseball in it, you saddle soap it, and you put it under your pillow at night so that it kind of conforms to the ball. And now there's people who provide that service for you, but it takes a little of the personal effort that it requires to make your mitt your own. But yeah, we have this whole collection of these vintage gloves in the museum that we allow people to, take outside and play catch in front of the building. And, it's just a labor of love to help people appreciate the history that this great game has brought to America.
As a kid, I couldn't wait until the strings on the baseball kind of broke, and then therefore you had that piece of leather, because that gave us permission to start digging into that ball so we could get that little cork or whatever it was in the middle of it. That to me was part of the game that said, go find out what it's made of. See if it really exists.
Yeah. So, when I grew up, we had one baseball, so we couldn't be that cavalier with it. But in the museum there, we have a stage by stage, I don't know, dissection of a baseball, so you can actually see what's in it. And and the same with the bats. It's just one of those things that as a kid you're fascinated by, and we're hoping that we can, kind of answer those questions or plant that seed of curiosity with other kids about baseball. And so anyway, I appreciate it. Yeah, I remember, and be able to say that, you tore the cover off the baseball.
Baby.
That was a badge of honor.
And you know what? Kids today don't understand this term, but when we said take your baseball and go home, we meant it, because there was somebody had a baseball in the neighborhood. Take your ball, go home. We'll find something else to hit.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and the things that you would come up with for bases, out in the middle of the farm country where I grew up. Yeah. It'd be a 2x4. Oh, that tree, you got to touch that tree. And, if you got to run behind this tree in order, it was a imagination game as much as it was a real one.
And God forbid that up there at the pitcher's mound, instead of going up, it went down, because it just screwed up my game.
Yes. Yeah. There was, we grew up on a farm where if we had 3 players, we were lucky. So you come up with all kinds of variations to try to make it seem like a real game when you've got 3 players, all these ghost players. And, anyway, it was fun.
What are you going to do when people start bringing things to you? I mean, is that open for people to do? I mean, because I've got a whole room here full of baseball memorabilia, and but what am I going to do with it? Or what's my family going to do with it when I'm gone?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. We had a fan of the movie who contacted me. He had bought it was essentially like a closet out of the old Comiskey Park when they tore it down. They had an auction of these things, and he bought this. It's 6 feet long and 8 feet tall, and it's this original wood that's from the 1910s, I think. Wow. that and it was in the old Comiskey Park where Shoeless Joe played, and he's had it in storage all these years, and he's donated it to the museum. We have limited space, but there's just certain things that you have to make room for, and so anyway, we're just excited to be that place that people can come and see these great items that otherwise are in some climate controlled storage somewhere. And who knows? Shoeless Joe might have touched this thing. Yeah. That just kind of brings gives me chills.
Do you think the aluminum bat changed the game of baseball at the little league level? Because when I went from a wood bat to an aluminum bat, it was like Bob Dylan going to an electric guitar.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I still prefer a wood bat. And as you were saying, we had one bat originally, and then 2, and sometimes bats get broken, sadly, and I suppose that's the only advantage to an aluminum bat is you can hang on to them for longer. But yeah, it was such a big deal to have a wood bat, and choosing the right one, a narrow handle, or I don't know, it just brings back such great memories. And I think all these changes. Look at the pitch clock; it's changing the game of baseball.
Yes, it is.
But we still don't know, what that lasting impression is going to be. It's shortened the game for sure, but is it going to be good or bad? But that's kind of one of those things that that what's great about a tradition as long as baseball has been in this country. That they originally played it without mitts at all, and then they went to these little fingerless gloves, and then split finger gloves, and then the big buckets that they have now today. It's all baseball, but it's changed over the years for sure.
Oh man, I still feel the sting in my hand from a ball, or there's a sting in my chest when I was pitching, got hit in the chest, and it's like, whoa. But you just go, I'm going to remember that for the rest of my life. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Who were you when you stepped into the batter box? I always thought of myself as either Willie Mays or I would be Barry Bonds. Who were you?
Well, I was obviously an earlier era, but I was a big fan of Roberto Clemente. So,
yes.
If I had to be in my head and talking to myself through the giant stadium speaker, it was Roberto Clemente. But and that made the game so exciting. It was interesting. I did a celebrity game there, and Bob Costas was one of the people, and he ended up playing for a little bit in the game, but then he went up and into the announcer's box, And so he announced me coming to bat the next inning, and that was kind of a thrill that Bob Costa said it. Now coming to bat, Dwier Brown, who started the movie. Anyway, it was just one of those thrills that I could never have imagined would happen to me in my lifetime.
Where can people go to find out more about this? Because this needs to be a part of their summer vacation plan.
Yes. Well, the Baseball Hall of Dreams is the website, and the Baseball Building. There's information on both those sites. My site is just my name, DwyerBrown.com. We'd love visitors to come out. I'll be out there in a couple weeks and different times all through the summer, and I'll be in the museum itself. So if you do make the schlep out there, I'd love to meet you if I happen to be in town at the time.
I love it. Please come back to this show anytime in the future. The door's always going to be open for you, dude.
Oh, thank you so much, Errol. I really appreciate it. It's been great talking nostalgic baseball with you.
Well, you be brilliant today, okay, sir?
It's a deal. And hey, Arrow.
Yes.
You want to have a catch?
Yeah. You know what? It's been many years since I've done something like that. You go outside and I'll be out there in about 5 minutes because I got to go steal a ball from the neighbor.
It's a deal, man.